Welcome, fellow travelers. It's Mickey Gold. So, I got into hypnosis because I was a personal trainer. And as a personal trainer, some of the things that are really important part of the job, it's not just giving someone a program, it's not just showing someone exercises, it's also helping people overcome objections, overcoming limitations. And most of our limitations are right here. Most of them are not true. We've mentioned before, speaking of hypnosis, that when we use the term I am or I'm, you need to make sure whatever comes after that is what you want to be stating, because eventually it becomes true. Now, a better way to state something is I feel or I feel like. So, like, for instance, if you're having just the worst day because you have these thoughts in your head and then all of a sudden you have these feelings about what's happening, I feel like a loser, I feel like crap, or I feel, instead of using the special magic words, because again, we don't want to keep this to us. Michael Singer, who I've talked about before, the author for The Untethered Soul, talks about that voice in our head being our inner roommate. And I've mentioned that before. And he said, if it was outside of us, we'd like be, get away from me. You are insane. What? I mean, it has an opinion about everything, and it uses language that sounds like it's trying to help you. But no matter what you do, it's going to be like shifting it to make you feel as though you're a loser, or you're not doing it right, or fast enough, or better, blah, 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 on and on and on. So, on top of using I feel versus I am, the other thing that we can do is remember that when we have a thought, which again could be our internal roommate, not our own thought, just random, and because how many times a day do you have just random thoughts pop into your head? I generally have song lyrics pop into my head, but random thoughts pop into our head. Like, why did that come up? Why am I thinking about something that happened to me 30 years ago, or my dad, my brother, my sister, my whatever? I sound like Chinatown. But anyways, but like, why are we having these random thoughts pop into our head? But then we have a feeling about random thoughts. And then we, say we are something because of these random thoughts. When realistically, here's a little way. Now, this is not hypnosis, but hypnosis, if you really look at it at its core, it has big roots in psychology. And psychology has big roots in philosophy and religion. And, so everything all kind of blends together, because basically all of it is science, psychology, religion. All of it is trying to explain why we're here. What's the point of this existence? Why do we live? How can we do it better? And that's always the question, I think, that all these things are trying to answer, is just what's up. So when you have a thought pop into your head and then you feel something, ask yourself, what part of me feels scared, feels annoyed, feels jealous, feels whatever? Now, you can wait for the answer to come up, and there might not be an answer, because I find just asking that question kind of pulls me back and makes it a little less personal. Like, oh, this is just my skin suit. I'm not attached to it because I know I'm either a soul, spirit, light, essence, whatever it might be, whatever your verbiage is. But so we don't necessarily, we take care of it like a car, but we don't attach to it. So what part of me, this physical thing that has to deal with a physical existence on earth, what part of me is feeling this? And then I ask the big question: who sees this? Who is experiencing this? Who is watching this? The witness is what they call this. Like, if you are doing meditation, which meditation kind of blends with hypnosis too, because a lot of times people do meditations that are pre-recorded and the person's talking the whole entire time. That's basically hypnosis. Again, it's just verbiage. One thing is not better than the other. It all works the same. I use hypnosis techniques when I do final relaxation in yoga. I use hypnosis with meditations. I mix them all together. So all these things work wonderfully. But the main point of meditation is to come from a seat of witness consciousness where we do not take it personally, where we look at the world and go, okay, because really honestly, Michael Singer says you're sitting on a rock in the middle of nowhere, meaning the earth, in the middle of nowhere, spinning around. And, I mean, so like when you think a problem's a problem, it's like, huh. And, there's some people who think the world's like 5,000 years old, and there's people who believe the world's billions of years old. No matter which way you think about it, if you think thousands or billions, our lifetime is kind of small compared to. So when we go from that seat of witness consciousness, we can say, wait, none of it's a big deal. I've mentioned before, like if you look at something here, you see a different thing than if you're looking here. You might miss a whole entire thing. Like around here, we have deer all the time. So like if someone's looking over here, they might notice the deer, where that person looking over here, not going to notice the deer. So, or if you would take, for instance, if you went into a big gigantic warehouse full of lots of stuff, say Amazon warehouse, and you had a tiny, teeny little pinpoint flashlight, you'd only get to see tiny little things one at a time. You wouldn't know that there's all these millions of things in there. You'd only see one little bit. That's the same with us. There are places all over the planet, and the same exact second you're looking at this, someone else is looking at that. So, I mean, there's billions of people looking at different things all at once, all having different experiences, and you're only getting a teeny tiny experience. That should make or could make one feel as though the things that we're going through that seem like a big deal, because usually what we get the most upset about in our daily lives is not the real big things. It's usually the little annoying things. It's the driver in front of us. It's the person standing in line in front of you at Starbucks that waited the 20 minutes that hasn't decided what they want by the time they get up there. Whatever the case may be that your pet peeve is, those little things are tiny, teeny when you think about the big things and you pull back from witness consciousness. Now, the one thing that you can do today to help yourself through, besides those other things that I mentioned, is ask yourself, who am I? It's not your age, it's not your height, it's not your weight, it's not what you do. If you keep asking yourself that question, you could say, I'm blonde, I'm white hair, I'm this, I'm, dark skin, I'm pale skin, I'm this, I'm that. Whatever your case may be, that's not who you are. So that's one thing to keep when those thoughts pop into our head. Just keep asking, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? It's kind of like a mantra. Some people use Om. Some people use names of God. Some people use love. Some people use peace in Hindi and sometimes in English. So you have Shanti, which is, Hindi for peace. So, that could be your mantra. Just to remind you, you aren't this. This is not you. You can shave this off. You can, grow, you can shrink, you can do all these things. This is not you. All right, fellow travelers, I hope you have a wonderful now. Peace, love, namaste.